What is up, everyone? It is your boy Farai, and today this is basically the last tutorial ever.
Nice.
In this room, you know what I'm saying? We're gonna be doing some like renovations and stuff, so I'll probably be in a different room for the next few days, like in a few, probably for like 2 weeks or something. Yeah, to get out the special machine gun microphone. You know what I'm saying? This is my goth mic. I don't know if you can really see it from here. You know what I mean? This is the SC 2200A, my first great microphone. But anyway, let's get into this tutorial. Man, J.Cole, how did I sleep on him, right? People love to hate on J.Cole, but you know what I'm saying? If you're a real rap fan, you do enjoy a bit of J.Cole. You know what I'm saying? Especially his older stuff. And his sound is always changing, so I think I try to find a kind of in between, because listening to his newest track, I was kind of referencing it over here, False Prophets. He's kind of gone for a more old school sound, which fits obviously the style of the song. Basically he's talking about the false prophets in hip hop, and I think a lot of the time hip hop sound has changed in the past few years. You know what I'm saying? Everything is like really shiny. It kind of reminds me of listening to Immortal Technique back in the day, and he talks about how record labels are selling this kind of like really polished kind of track. So I've tried to find an in between. Working on this style. This is obviously just an example's sake, but I hope you can learn something from this. We'll break it down as usual, and we'll make sure the tutorial is great. So let's get into it. We'll play the track. This beat is by I never promote these guys, Abel Petit. I don't know if I'm saying that wrong. Sub to this guy. He gives away a lot of free beats, and he just wants the credit for it. So go and support him. You know what I'm saying? If you get this template or you copy it, you can use this exact beat and get great results. You know what I'm saying? So let's get into the example. Hey, baby, you the one, got my heart racing. Been so long, I've been so patient. Looking at my watch, time stands still. I'ma let you know I always keep it real. Keep it real, baby, ooh, keep it real. Keep it real, baby, ooh, keep it real. I would take a bullet for you like a Navy SEAL. You turn me upside down like a Ferris wheel. Keep it real, baby, ooh, keep it real. Keep it real, baby, ooh, keep it real. I would take a bullet for you like a Navy SEAL. You turn me upside down like a Ferris wheel. Cool, so there we go. You know what I'm saying? That's a nice little beat going on right there. We got the main vocal over here. I haven't named anything yet. We got the left background, so we'll just type that as L. And we don't take L's, we just take R's. You know what I'm saying? Whatever. We got the ad-lib over there, and we have like kind of a left sing, right sing, which will break down right sing. So yeah, first things first, mono vocal. J.Cole's sound, I went and studied that pretty hard. You know what I'm saying? That's what I think the next level of this is going to study the actual artists and the engineers and how they get the sounds that they do. You know what I'm saying? And there's a guy basically called, I think it's Dew, which is, he's been part of Dreamsville for many years. You can kind of skip ahead if you're not interested in this, but I find all this quite interesting, and which contributes to the artist's style. And he pretty much, there was not a lot on them. I mean, he's not, like how 40 is really popular, you know what I'm saying? There are a lot of engineers that are really popular, but he's kind of been low-key. And I think that's Dreamsville's whole vibe, is they're not really interested too much in, the clout. You know what I'm saying? That's the new term that hip-hop is throwing around. And, you know what I'm saying? He's devised the sound, has kept it really authentic. J. Cole is really involved in how his sound comes around. So whenever you hear his old school sound, J. Cole's definitely been involved in that. So I've tried to kind of implement that into this session. So we'll start off with the mono vocal, right, which is pretty much very simple. I've worked hard on making this as simple as possible to give it that true aesthetic. And the one thing that the guy Dew talked about, I hope that is his name, is that he uses kind of like an SSL style vibe with a bit of tape saturation. So I took those concepts and I ran with that. So we'll break that down. So basically in this template, there is kind of a emulation, kind of hard clip of tape. So you can either use that. I've chosen not to use that. But what that basically does is it'll clip the sound. So I'll play it with and without. Let's just mute everything else. So I'll A-B that. Hey, baby, you the one, got my heart racing. Been so long, I've been so patient. Looking at my watch, time stands still. You can hear that. I'ma let you know I always keep it real. Keep it real, baby, ooh, keep it real. So when you mix that in half, you get a nice sound. So we won't use that, but that's basically if you've got a really digital sound recording, you can use that just to kind of give it a bit more analog kind of warmth. Going down, we just got our casual de-essing. J. Cole's vocals are very low pass, meaning there's not a lot of like hiss in his vocal, which is amazing. I like that personally. I don't like brittle records. And you can just see we're doing a bit of de-essing. Hey, baby, you the one, got my heart racing. So just look, the high band, for those who don't know yet, the high band is doing slightly a bit of de-essing. This is a pretty common technique, just to roll off a bit of the initial highs. And yeah, the next thing that is here is basically an EQ, which you can use. I've chosen not to use it because I'll show you in the next thing. And this is a major key alert, you know what I'm saying? Put the animations in there, editing guy. So I won't even talk about this. This is basically just a low mid cut, high boost if needed, right? If your vocals need a bit of character and definition presence. But this plugin right here in 3, 2, 1, major key, you know what I'm saying? I found this. I was looking so hard for something that replicates an SSL. One thing that Dude the engineer talked about, I hope I've been saying it right because I've said his name like 5 times now. But basically, J. Cole really likes to use the SSL console, so I'll put up an SSL on the screen for those who have never or might have seen one but just don't know what it is. Basically, it's a type of a mixing console, and you know, Dude really says he likes, they don't use too much outboard gear, but they do love to use the SSL to really like beef up the drums, beef up the vocals, you know what I mean? And this channel is awesome. I've been using it. I've kind of sculpted the sound, and I'll break down what each element kind of does. So this here, you have the EQ section. Over here, we have the compression, which I'm not using because we're using different types of compression. But all we're really doing is a bit of high passing and low passing, which is really important. Low passing is basically this, right? I mean, high passing, sorry, is this. So as you can see, we're rolling off, and I don't really know, I guess 0.25, I don't know what that is, but you know, just use your ear in this kind of scenario. And we're doing a bit of low passing, which is to get rid of some of all of that, you know what I'm saying? So that just kind of sculpts the sound of it. I'll A-B it. Hey, baby, you the one, got my heart racing. Been so long, I've been so patient. And what that really does is actually I'll A-B it on and off here, so you can hear. Hey, baby, you the one, got my heart racing. You know, basically what it does is it gives the vocals a certain space. So if this is all the space in the audio spectrum, it's kind of sculpting it down. So you can kind of find the best space in between the track to kind of let your vocals sit and just kind of, you know, take over that section of the song and not use up too much of, let's say, the hi-hat and consume too much of the bass area to allow the kick to breathe. You know what I'm saying? And then we're just basically doing a bit of removal on 200 hertz, I'm guessing. It's kind of pointing at 200 hertz. And this is the Q. So a narrow Q means it's not taking too much. And a wider Q means it's taking a lot of the EQ out, which is basically this. So I'll just copy here so I don't mess it up. But this is a narrow Q. This is a wide Q. You know what I mean? A really wide Q. So there you go. That's how you use an SSL. SSL, these are really hard EQs to use, in my opinion. If obviously, you know, me as a millennial, we didn't really have the chance to, like, you know what I'm saying, mix on these like for years. So we don't really know what they sound like. Well, I don't know personally. You know, I grew up in the parametric EQ phase. I kind of know what this sounds like. But if you understand the concept of this, you'll understand this. You know what I'm saying? I'm doing a little boost at, if that's 5,000, that's 7,000. I don't know, 6,000, let's say. Oh, that's 500 hertz, my bad. And that's 7,000. Somewhere in between. Use your ear. Tiny bit of boost. On the high end, which is basically like the shelf, high-end shelf, as you can see, we're basically doing that. But SSL has its own kind of sound, and we're just doing a little bit of boost, probably around 15,000, just to give it a bit of, you know, kind of brightness. So yeah, that's pretty much the major key in that. And as you can see here, what's so interesting is when I was listening to J. Cole again, right, I kind of thought they're using a Pultec to roll off some of the high end, and yes, they are. In the kind of article I read where the engineer's talking about how they mix the vocal, they are doing that. And this is pretty much my favorite thing to do, man. This is almost like using a tape machine on the vocal. The attenuation at 20,000 hertz, you roll it off until you're happy with it, right? So this works in my scenario. You can adjust that attenuation until you're happy. Basically, what it's doing is just rolling off the high end, right? Just getting rid of that. And the way the Pultecs work is it's kind of a really kind of big ass cube, you know what I'm saying? So it's doing something like that, but very nicely and very naturally. So I'll just A-B that. Hey, baby, you the one, got my heart racing. Been so long. Very subtle, right? We're just doing very subtle things. We're doing a bit of boosting around 30 hertz. And a bit of attenuation at the same time. When you do that, you get a really weird effect that just kind of makes your vocal a bit more dumpier, I guess, and just more solid. And then we're basically doing a bit of 2LA compression for those who have watched the last 3 VST. They haven't done one in a while, I'm sorry. But yeah, we're basically doing a little bit of compression here. Hey, baby, you the one, got my heart racing. Been so long, I've been so patient. Looking at my watch, time stands still. So as you can see, we're doing a little bit of compression, and as you can see in this little meter over here, there's what you call total harmonic distortion. We're doing a minimal amount of that, and it just gives the vocal that kind of spank and spark. And then interestingly enough, I found out that on the track Power Trip, a distressor was used on Miguel's vocals. So this is pretty much a great free emulation. All the plugins I'm using here are free for those who are still around at 11 minutes. This is real stuff, man. I already did research on this. And Miguel's vocal had a distress on it, and I just realized that, damn, it really makes the vocal pop. So I quite like this setting that I've used here. Filtering, I don't really know too much about the distress. I don't really use it that much, but this is kind of the first time really diving into this plugin, and you can kind of hear the difference here, so I'll just A-B that. Let's get there. Hey, baby, you the one, got my heart racing. Been so long, I've been so patient. Looking at my watch, time stands still. I'ma let you know I always keep it real. Keep it real, baby, ooh, keep it real. Keep it real, baby, ooh, keep it real. So barely any sound, but really what I can hear is, I think the filter that I'm using is, it's either only compressing the low end or it's compressing the high end. High passing, low passing. I really like the sound of that. And yeah, that's pretty much the monovocal. Long time on there, it's sounding amazing. We might as well just do the vocal bus while we're at it. We're doing a bit of tape saturation, right? The chroma tape is used on J.Cole's vocal, from what I understand. And yeah, pretty much you have the choice of using a bit more tape kind of curve. I'll just give you that. Baby, you the one, got my heart racing. Same thing. Been so long, I've been so patient. Looking at my watch, time. And we're doing a bit of bus EQ with the Modern Series SSL channel, which sounds cool. You can either use the other one if you like it, but yeah, this one stuck around. And then we are basically, this is a cool little plugin just to add saturation. So this adds like the final oomph to the track. I'll let you hear. Hey, baby, you the one, got my heart racing. Been so long, I've been so patient. So right before the limiting, we do a bit of like kind of beef saturation on there. And yeah, that's pretty much everything in terms of the sonic sculpting. Now we'll kind of go into the aesthetic of the song. And our backgrounds, I did have the backgrounds the whole way through, but oh my gosh. But I felt like it sounds more impactful, and I see J.Cole does that a lot, where he'll rap with just one vocal track for a really long time and then suddenly pop up with like this whole and I think the track Workout, I couldn't emulate how well kind of the vocals were panned. Go ahead and listen to Workout and listen to the chorus and how like wide it sounds when the chorus comes if you're listening in stereo, meaning on left and right channel. And I kind of emulated that, but at the same time also in False Prophets he does it as well, but it's a lot more lo-fi. So I kind of went in the middle because obviously I couldn't get that Workout studio sound, right? I'm trying to make it as like home studio user friendly. If I like used Waves plugins and all sorts of crazy stuff, it'll be harder for you to achieve that sound at a low cost, you know what I'm saying? So you can kind of hear how the sound widens up and you can get the idea. Looking at my watch, time stands still. I'ma let you know I always keep it real. Keep it real, baby, ooh, keep it real. Keep it real, baby, ooh, keep it real. I would take a bullet for you like a Navy SEAL. You turn me upside down like a Ferris wheel. Keep it real, baby, ooh, keep it real. So basically what I'm doing there is we're doing a bit of EQ, so the same EQ on both channels, right? And all we're really doing is boosting the kind of upper mid area, and just getting a nice warm sound. So when the sound comes in, it's not bright and like, like kind of trap is really bright. We're doing a lot more kind of warm hip-hop sound. And on the bus of that, so these two channels are routed to there, we're doing a bit of rolling off just to, because obviously if we, building up a lot of sounds, we want to roll off the high end, the low end, sorry, my fault. And yeah, we do a bit of compression just to glue it all together, and then we do a bit of reverb just to give it like a more spaced out sound. And then the trick is basically to, within FL, this is the easiest way, is just to use the stereo separation knob. Alternatively, you could just use this at 68%. It's the exact same thing, but this is always nice to have, and you can hear the difference. Here we go.
Keep it real, baby. Ooh, keep it real.
It's a lot more narrow.
Baby, ooh, keep it real.
Kind of spreads out.
You like a Navy SEAL. You turn me upside down like a Ferris wheel. Keep it real, baby. Ooh, keep it real. Keep it real, baby. Ooh, keep it real. I would take a bullet for you like a Navy SEAL.
Cool. That sounds cool. It's all gelled well together. You can adjust these EQs as you want, just to make sure it works well with your voice. We're doing a bit of ad-libbing. J.Cole doesn't tend to ad-lib too much, right? He's more about the story that he's telling. That's his aesthetic. But I've basically done a little bit and just emphasized on some words. You know what I'm saying? I know Tony, I think it is, keeps asking about ad-libs. And in this scenario, in old school rap, ad-libs aren't really there to like Lil Pump it, which I'm gonna call it right now, and Lil Pump flex like, ooh, that's the ad-lib, you know what I mean? This is more so just to emphasize what is going on. So as you can hear,
I'ma let you know I always keep it real.
Keep it real, you know what I'm saying? If you can hear in the background,
keep it real.
You know what I mean? Just little stuff just to add on to the I'll just play it with and without.
Always keep it real.
Keep it real.
Always keep it real. Always keep it real. Keep it real, baby, ooh, keep it real.
So, ooh, you know what I'm saying? There you go, just little stuff that you can use.
Baby, ooh, keep.
Ooh, you know what I'm saying?
Ooh, yeah. Ooh. Would call you like a Navy SEAL. Like a Ferris wheel.
You know what I mean? And you just blend them in, you know what I mean? Just nicely, so you get like a nice extra texture to your song, you know what I mean? People won't really hear it, but it is there and it is adding energy to the track.
Oh, I would take a bullet for you like a Navy SEAL. You turn me upside down like a Ferris wheel.
And the important thing to do is to not rap it exactly the same as what it sounds like in the mono vocal track, so the main vocal. So
down like a Ferris wheel.
So there, and then here.
Like a Ferris wheel.
And there you go. Sorry, my computer froze, but yeah.
Like a down like a Ferris wheel. Down like a Ferris wheel. Keep it real, baby. Ooh, keep it real. Keep it real.
And then basically, this is just adding on to your own style. So this is my own style, which is kind of like a little Kanye sound, like kind of like a low pass auto-tune sound. And I'll just play that alone, which doesn't sound that great, but blended in, it sounds amazing. You can hear that in the background. You know what I mean? And basically, all I'm doing is I'm going with the melody of the track. Da, da, da. You know what I'm saying? You can hear the guitars. Da, da, da. You know what I'm saying? Learn how to kind of add your own style to every type of song and recording. And that way, you know what I'm saying? You stand out in the crowd. I think that's a pretty cool little trick to do. So all I'm really doing is using the pitcher, right? And as you can see, I'm also using the pitch on the main vocal, on the hook, because I can't really sing that well. But, minimal auto-tune, 46, not a lot. You don't want to turn it into a Lil Wayne song when it's a J. Cole song, you know what I'm saying? Man, I hurt my foot earlier and it is so sore. I'm in pain, yo. Yeah, and basically what I'm doing is adding a reverb to that sound, and then adding a flangus, which is my favorite, which is on the default preset. And then you get a cool little sound. You can have it dry. I think it sounds pretty cool dry as well.
I'ma let you know I always keep it real.
You know what I'm saying? But then it doesn't gel, so you want to add those effects just to give it that sound.
I'ma let you know I always keep it real. Keep it real, baby, ooh, keep it real. keep it real, baby, ooh, keep it real.
So yeah, as we kind of go to the beat and reverbs, I've just made a little thing called Cole's reverb. You can copy that if you want. Small time, you know what I mean, all normal stuff. Delay very minimal. Cole doesn't really use delays, and we are doing a bit of chorus effect just to get a bit more stereo width going on there. And yeah, as we kind of go to the instrumental, right, I kind of read somewhere that, you know, J. Cole really likes the shakers and the hi-hats to stand out. So this beat really did kind of, you know, when you make your own beats, I also go through this when I make my own beats. Sometimes you might mix the beat in a certain way. You need the second perspective. So I've kind of added onto this guy's beat. And as you can hear the beat without the EQ. And then when we turn that on, you know, kind of the bass is kind of too much, it's too prominent, and the drums are not prominent enough, the like kind of high-end drums over here. So this gives it a lot more of a high fidelity sound, but at the same time it adds that grit back with the nasty kind of hi-hats. And yeah, magic compression, I'll leave that for the template. And yeah, pretty much we are doing a bit of Struder, which is basically like a tape machine. This is not the exact curve. I think I made a custom template for someone where I used the exact curve, which does sound pretty cool, but in this case scenario I've modified it, and I'll just leave it like this. I think this is kind of version 2. This sounds pretty cool. And basically tape machines, as I said, roll off the high end, so they naturally get rid of like the sizzle in the track, and they also naturally get rid of some of the bass. So this sounds really cool. It gives it that old school sound. You know, when you listen to Cole's music, especially the stuff that is not like pop kind of stuff, like his early 2014 stuff, from his debut album, I think it was, there was a lot of bass in that, but kind of his new stuff is not really concentrated on bass. You can kind of hear very subtle. And we're just doing some Maximus as usual, same old. You can just flip to all the presets. All of the presets are pretty good. And yeah, the one cool thing that I will show you today is, you know, if you're working on a console, right, consoles have natural problems, right? So computers never have problems, right? FL Studio will always sound the same until you mess with it, right? Your audio interface could sound different, but you know, consoles are very big machines that are modular, meaning that they've got many different electrical components within them that change with time. So one channel might sound good today, the other channel might sound better the next day. You know what I'm saying? Pieces fail, pieces get old, and the sound changes. So what I've done to kind of emulate that is I've made this little thing called Destroyed SSL, which really, you know, when you stack a chain of a lot of electronics, you get a really interesting sound, right? So I've created this kind of channel where I've routed both the vocal bus and the instrumental, right? So that's everything, even the reverb, even the delay, even the chorus, which is routed to the vocal bus, to this Destroyed SSL. And I'll show you what is happening here, right?
Keep it real, baby, ooh, keep it real. Keep it real, baby, ooh, keep it.
You know what I mean? But that's basically an emphasis of what, sorry for going so crazy there. But basically what I'm doing is wave shaping it, right? Which is distortion, which is kind of emulating electronics. And all I'm doing is compressing it heavily, right? With this kind of cool little modern series Polo Kill. I don't know what it's emulating, but it sounds damn sweet. And we kind of got this camel EQ going on. It kind of looks like a camel. And all I'm doing is kind of, you know, J. Cole really has his drums dirty, right? So this instrumental is not dirty at all, you know what I mean? But this is adding back that grit, especially to the vocal, especially to the beat. So I'll kind of lift it up a bit more than usual. But this is where I would keep it. I wouldn't adjust it too much. But, you know, you could adjust it. But sorry about that, glitched again. But you could adjust it and we'll kind of just A-B it. So
keep it real, baby, ooh, keep it real. Keep it real, baby, ooh, keep it real. I would take a bullet for you like a Navy SEAL. You turn me upside down like a Ferris wheel. Keep it real, baby, ooh, keep it real. Keep it real, baby, ooh, keep it real. I would take a bullet for.
So yeah, if you don't know about phasing, I wouldn't mess with this channel too much. I wouldn't try and emulate it if you don't know about phasing, because you might end up messing up your whole song. So this is kind of an advanced thing over here. But yeah, that's pretty much the whole template. I try to make this as informative as possible. I was talking about making these tutorials more in depth, and I think this is a good little take on there. I'm pretty happy with the sound of this. I hope you learned something. And yeah, man, take a look at the last bit of this room. You know, saying disco lights, it was too bright over there, so I just pulled it down. I kind of like the effect. I don't have my normal lights, so I might be looking, you know what I'm saying, a bit dim. But hey, it is your boy Farai. Like and subscribe. You know what I'm saying. Shout out to everyone for the support. Much love. I'll link some free presets below as usual. They're gonna be random, so I'll choose what I feel like is cool. And yeah, stay recording, stay making great music. As J.Cole said, man, you know, he's not that good at mixing. So if you feel like you're not that great at mixing, send it to me. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, have a good one. Peace out.
Nice.